Welcome to Tavern Talk 716, coming to you from 60 feet down in the bunker. Here are the hosts: international best-selling author Keith White Jr. and Lawrence Duran Gomez.
Oh, hey there! How are you? Okay. All right, Tavern Talk 716. Once again, international best-selling children's author Keith White Jr. And as I mentioned last week, main host of the show. And I am once again joined by the Golden God himself.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lawrence Gomez, a.k.a. Salvatore Morocco, a.k.a. Duran Gomez, a.k.a. completely unprepared this week.
Completely also ruined the flow of that. I had flow going and you're like, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I have gotten very slow and professional with my introduction. So you just flow, baby. Flow like my once again summer shandy. Look at the head on that thing.
I have a thing. You can't mess with the thing.
I would never touch your thing, I promise.
Good.
I am, as last week, as we approach the summertime, here in the quarantine, I am summer shandying my way once again through Tavern Talk 716. So here we are with the cheers to start the show. And this time, you did not screw up the cheers, which I'm super, super impressed with. And I know in weeks past, I've had my Buffalo Bills glass, but last week and this week I decided I was going to have my Superman glass, and wearing this week a Daredevil t-shirt, and I'm ready to rock and roll. We got Senior Bottle Top here with us, my tag team partner. Tango Torres' tag team partner. And Duran is without topics, so I'm going to let Duran talk for a second.
Absolutely the best time to hand me control of this show, let me tell you that. So, last week we talked about Resident Evil. We talked about a lot of nonsense. I feel like this show is going to be not much different because I'm unprepared, and usually the only type of format we have on this show is when I do bring some sort of outline up for us to follow.
There is a format to this show. That format is chaos.
Nuts.
Yes, I think that works for us. Some shows don't do well without, anything ahead of time, without preparation or a script or, some sort of outline. We don't have any of that, and that seems to work for us. We're rocking and rolling on YouTube, baby. We've got like 20, 30 views per episode.
Million.
So,
no, not million?
No, not million. But there are 20 or 30 individual people who are watching this show weekly. So for you 20 or 30 folks, keep it up, baby, because we're here for you. I turned into Dusty Rhodes there for a second. We're in the Cow Palace, baby.
I am not upset with that one bit.
I don't know why that happened. It's me and Larry the Bisco, the living legend, baby. We're going down to the Cow
get
Palace.
You some polka dots,
yeah,
Daddy!
I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden I turned into him. But either way, it's probably because these summer shandies aren't starting now. I was drinking these before we went on the air this week. Last week, I came in clear-headed and ready to go. And this week, I got down into the bunker, and the first thing Duran says is, I got no topics, I've got no nothing this week. And I was like, then I am going to crack my beer now. And that was like 3 hours ago when we started prepping for the show. So, as you can tell, glug, glug, chug, chug, baby.
And I was drinking that whole time, too. Otherwise, I would have probably still not prepped.
Well, yeah, because, it's not like we carry around these little computers in our pockets that would allow you to look up subjects or topics to talk about on the show. Being 1987, all we have is our calculators and pocket watches with us. So, did people use pocket watches in 1987?
Few.
Screeching halt. That's where the show just went to, screeching halt. So, you were talking about Resident Evil 3 last week, and you brought it up again at the beginning of the show here.
Yes. In case you're wondering at home, I keep bringing up Resident Evil 3 because that's really all I have going on. I played Resident Evil 3. It was awesome. That's it. That's all I got.
You were thinking of quarantine. You would be like, I play Resident Evil. I don't play video games a lot, but I played Resident Evil 3, and then I played Silent Hill, and then I played Alone in the Dark, and then I played
my
Skin Flute.
My download of Resident Evil 3 did come with a side sub-game called Resident Evil Resistance.
Ooh.
And I love the concept. I did not get into it.
What is it? I don't know anything about it. This is the first I've heard of this.
Resident Evil Resistance is a sub-game from Resident Evil 3, and you are, instead of being the survivors, you are an Umbrella head of some sort, and you are running resistance fighters through a gamut of trials to test out your monsters and your experiments.
So you're a bad guy.
Yes.
And you're like, hey guys, I got this new monster that I'm going to use to murder people, but I want to make sure that he's awesome and that in case we need to, you could kill him. So I'm going to take all of you dudes and make you guys go like fight them.
That's it. In a
That
nutshell.
sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds like some sort of wacky thing that we would do in like a movie.
I didn't get past the training because for this one I actually did do the training.
Oh, you did
seminar.
mention last week that in Resident Evil 3 you completely bypassed all the tutorials and then didn't even know about one of the main moves in the game until after you were done with it.
Yep. And I'm actually impressed. It explains why I did so poorly, but I'm impressed that I still got through without the dodging technique because it's so crucial. It's a very important move.
Now, out of curiosity, I did actually have somewhere I was going with this, but I do have Resident Evil questions that I didn't ask last week because last week's show was just and it was over. So I do have questions. Now, is Resident Evil 3 the remake? Is it like Resident Evil 2 or is it more actiony than Resident Evil 2?
We're talking about the remake.
The remake. We're talking only remakes right now.
Okay.
Or sequels. Like I was going to go back to 7 as well. So we're only going with current gen stuff. So
Yes.
is Resident Evil 3 the remake?
Yes.
Is it more actiony than Resident Evil 2 the remake, or is it in the same like vein?
It's in the same vein. You have your puzzles, and you have your character that chases you, which is very, very fun and adds a new scary element.
I would assume it's the
For
nemesis.
those of you, it's the nemesis in this case. For those of you that hopefully many have played on 2 already, considering 3 is a newer game, some of you might have not have gotten to it yet. I assume many of you viewers, if we have any, have played
20 or
2
30
already.
of them.
And it's a very fun game. And then in that game, Mr. X is very much on you, trailing you the whole game. And Nemesis does a similar kind of approach, not in the exact same vein. So don't look for it to be exactly a knockoff of Resident Evil 2.
Okay. I also want to apologize for my chair is extra creaky this week.
Yeah, we gotta get some WD-40 for that bad boy.
Either that or I've just got the moves this week.
Or
I
we
don't
gotta
know.
get you some glucosamine chondroitin.
I got, Vitavita Vegemin, that stuff. I was a little nervous, not to also change the subject while you're talking, I noticed it there, caught my eye. I was worried that your birthday present, Strawberry Shortcake #1, wasn't going to be here this week. I thought maybe in the time off you might have lost it, or maybe read it so much that it fell apart, because I assume you've read it 6 or 7 times at this point.
Only the 0 times so far. But,
you've read it 0 times so far? That can't be
it
right.
just looks so good where it's at.
It does look good there. That's why I was nervous it wouldn't be there this week. But there she is, and her friends are with her.
But,
Strawberry Shortcake.
but you can.
And you said the friends are butterscotch and lemon drop. Is that what you said?
I believe you said lemon drop.
I believe you knew all of their names.
I think I said lemon meringue.
I believe we then spent about 30 minutes with you giving me the entire backstory of every character that ever existed within Strawberry Shortcake lore.
I was drunk last week, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why he doesn't remember it, folks, because you saw it all on YouTube right here on the show. So comment below how you remember him doing that.
So far I have read it all of 0 times, but I guarantee you by next week I will have read it at least
0 times. So anyway,
You saw where I was going with that.
I did see where you were going. I've known you a long time. I'll never admit that though in public. So what I was gonna bring back, I'm gonna circle back now to Resident Evil. You bought it digitally or do you have it on disc?
I bought a download.
You bought it download.
Yes.
Was this after the quarantine or before the quarantine?
This was after the quarantine.
This is after the quarantine started. So did you buy it digitally because you prefer that, or just because there's nowhere to buy games right now?
It wasn't available anywhere.
Oh, did you?
The Amazon search I had it releasing in mid-May, which is behind us now, but
right, the
but
time.
I beat the
At
game
the time.
already. Yes.
Right.
At the time.
At the time of your purchase.
Right. At the time, it was not conducive to me being able to play it immediately.
Okay, so you.
And I tried other searches, and it just wasn't working out to the point where I was going to be able to get my hands on it immediately. So I resorted it to the PlayStation.
To the digital download from the PlayStation Store. Okay, that's fair. So the reason I'm asking is because I can't stop looking at your pants. What is up with your pants this week? I'm sorry, it keeps catching my eye. What is your pants this week?
As you know, I am becoming somewhat of a fashionista.
You are
in the quarantine.
quite the fashionista.
And
You are
these
quarantine
are
fashion.
some hip pants that I feel are straight out of Paris, France itself, and it basically has
Those are straight out of the LuLaRoe catalog.
a bunch of photography all over the pants, and
Those are not men's pants.
and a yellow and purple and bluish
Those
kind of.
Those are not men's.
Whoa.
Those are not men's pants.
I make them look good.
Those are definitely women's pants. Those are.
Are you saying there's a problem with that?
No, it's quarantine. You wear whatever you want,
Right.
and you're camera ready at all times. If I know one thing I've ever known about you, if there is a camera on, you are camera ready. There are times when you are not life ready, but you are camera ready. Every time I look over at you, it's like your pants are like, look at all the colors.
They do yell, "Look at me! Look at me!
Right.
I'm fancy."
And at least you counter the ridiculously over the top pants with a gold shirt.
Yes.
So, And is this the same gold shirt from last week? Or
Indeed,
do you have like
it
an
felt
entire
so
army
good.
of them?
The shirt felt so good last week, and the show went so well. I brought the shirt back.
You know what saves the entire outfit, though? You're wearing a Tango Torres t-shirt underneath
Tango!
with artwork that I drew. So,
How about that?
yep, that artwork is drawn by Keith White Jr., international best-selling children's author. You can see artwork similar to that, too, down here at the bottom of the screen. If you want to check it out, you can see similar artwork to that, and also artwork that does not feature Duran. So, better artwork. So anyway, a lot of it does. That's true. That's true. So anyway, to circle back again, as this episode is going to be titled "Circling Back," because that's what we're doing, circling back. So the reason I asked where you got the game is I was going to ask you if months ago when the quarantine first started, GameStop stayed open. Did you hear about this or no?
No, I'm waiting for you to inform me.
When the quarantine first started, only essential businesses could be open. And that was when only really essential businesses could be open. Well, GameStop stayed open.
Okay.
And they considered themselves essential.
Right.
They deemed themselves essential.
Well, that sounds like a Keith White Jr. movie.
It does. We are essential here. So a buddy of mine, I had read online how they were open, and I'm telling my buddy, and he's like, "No, they're not open." And he goes, "I'm serious, they're open." He's like, "You know what? On my lunch break today," he was also still working, and he goes, "On my lunch break, I'm going to go down to GameStop and pick up. I think he's picking up Doom Eternal when it first came out months ago." So
I hear good things.
I've heard mixed things, honestly. I've heard that it's very similar to the first, but not as good as the first one, is what I've heard. I haven't played it yet. I still have the original Doom from 2016 that I haven't played yet, along with Resident Evil 2. I haven't played either of those yet, but I'll get to them, and then I'll talk about them here on the show. So he went there, and there was like a bodyguard or a bouncer standing at the door, and they were only allowing 2 people in the store at a time, and this bouncer had a letter in his pocket that from the GameStop lawyer that said that they have deemed themselves essential and thus can stay open. And he was instructed that if the police show up, to show them the letter and then tell them that if they have any other questions to go to GameStop.com, then to let the police know they can also reserve all the newest games, including Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
They just took that ball.
Yep. Oh,
and ran with it.
So, so the guy says,
no holds barred at this point.
So the bouncer says to my buddy when he's like, "Well, what do you do though? What if the cops give you a hard time?" He's like, "I've been told to shoo them away, and I'm only allowed to close the store or respond if the National Guard shows up.
Oh, wow.
Beyond that, this store stays open." That's what he said. So GameStop was open for quite some time until there was this huge backlash online where people were like, "You can't do that. You're not essential." So then they started doing curbside, where you pull up and they'll bring the thing out to you. So then another memo leaks out where managers were asking, "What do we do?" Because they would want you to pay online, but obviously not everybody pays online. So they would say, "What if someone shows up and they want to pay with cash or with a card?" They were told by GameStop corporate, "Just put bags on your hands and get back to work." If you have to handle money or credit cards from people, just put bags on your hands and get back to work.
Let's just say this GameStop corporate.
This is
GameStop
like
corporate is no WWE.
This is a worldwide company.
It's no
GameStop.
WWE.
Oh no. They don't have the clout that WWE has to just make states make them essential. So there was more backlash, and now there's only like one GameStop in the area open, and they do curbside, and you have to order online, and you have to pay online, and then they'll bring it out to you. But from what I was told, and I don't know if this is true, if you work at GameStop and I am incorrect, you could comment down below or on Twitter. I'll put that down here. Salvatore Morocco and Keith White Jr. on Twitter. If I'm incorrect, let me know, because I'd love to then correct it here on the show. But from what I was told from somebody who works for the company, who I will not name, is that they lost their license in New York State.
Wow.
Because they were fighting and saying they were essential, even though they weren't, and they lost their license, and then there was no stores open for a while, and then one of them was allowed to reopen, and now that's the only one you can get games from in the area. Now, whether more have opened since I heard that story, this is a while that I heard that, more have opened since then, possibly. I don't generally buy from GameStop anymore like I used to, so I wouldn't know. But I just think that is amazing that this company was just like, nah, screw it, we're essential. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the government says. I don't care what any of them say. We're essential now. Stay open and sell copies of Madden.
GameStop went wildly over the top on this one.
And it was like, I think, and I honestly think it's because Doom and Animal Crossing were coming out right when that happened, and they were like, we got so many pre-orders. We're leaving a lot of money on the table. Who cares if our employees die from Corona? We can sell a lot of copies of Doom.
I feel like a lot of companies have that same
mentality. Unfortunately, I would tend to agree. So I didn't know if you'd heard about that. I thought that would be an interesting story. And if you have anything you'd like to share, I'm going to make some summer over here.
Oh, it's the Keith Cocktail Hour.
Boom, boom, boom. Keith's Cocktails. Keith's Cocktails. Keith's Cocktails.
Rocking the
Everybody
shandies.
drinks Keith's Cocktails. Yeah. It's Keith's Cocktails.
Well,
everybody's drinking Keith's Cocktails.
So much for my segment on the show. That reminds me.
You just interrupt my segment with your segment.
That reminds me. Did you clean that letter like I told you?
Did I what? Did I do what?
Did you clean that ladder like I told you?
Clean the ladder?
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning
From all
that
the
ladder.
urine.
Yeah, I'm not cleaning that
80
ladder.
feet of urine.
First off, it's not my urine. It's your girlfriend's urine. Secondly, why is it still wet? There's no way that's the same urine. That is not the same.
It's been cold.
It's been months, and it is almost summertime. That has been months at this point. Months, and it is still wet. There is no way that's the same urine. And some weeks, it's wetter than other weeks. It is not the same urine, and I'm not cleaning that urine
As
up.
host of this show, I asked you
All I know is-
kindly to do a little maintenance.
Right, and as the actual host of the show, I said no. As the real host would tell his co-host,
We'll resolve this after the show.
no, we won't. See how that works? Host. Just like that, Duran is laughing so hard he's coughing and barfing over there. I hope you can pick up his coughing. It took me months, but I finally able to get him while he was taking a sip. So now that it's the Keith Show, and it says that down here and at the bottom, we got Keith Show. This show's all about number one, Keith White Jr. KeithWhiteJr.com. Boom. So now that it's my show, what I'm hoping for is in the weeks to come, I'm hoping to have a rotating menagerie of guest hosts who I'll get to come down into the now Keith White Jr. official bunker of Tavern Talk 716. And each week we'll get one of these hosts, we'll come down here, we'll chit-chat, we'll promote things, I'll make funny jokes, they'll tell me how handsome I am. And from then on, we'll just... It would appear his plans have changed. Duran, I'm so glad you're back.
Triumphant return, ladies and gentlemen.
I was so worried about you. I'm so glad you're back. I didn't make
I came back. I know you were floundering.
the whole time
in
you
my
were gone,
absence.
I didn't say a word. I just sat here like this.
No worries, ladies and gentlemen. The show has been saved. Don't call me a messiah. I'm just a man.
You are a man who couldn't even get out his own phrase. You feeling better? What happened?
I need a minute.
We're on the air. You don't get a minute.
You can edit that out.
No, I'm not editing anything out. I don't edit.
You will,
anything.
as host of this show,
Oh,
you will
yeah.
edit that out.
It's a real shame. When you left, I could have went to live via satellite to Nickel T Buffalo. But you know what? I didn't do that because I'm a jerk.
But we can now.
We could now. Well, that's kind of where I was going with this, is that as many of you know who follow the show, our friend Nickel T. Buffalo is still at the Nerd Terminal in Cheektowaga, New York, a great store for all your retro needs. He has taken up residence in there. We actually were there a while back. Then we went back to get him because he didn't leave with us, and then he decided to stay again. So each week we've been cutting back to him just to see how his life is going there at the terminal. And so I figured, now that you're back, and now that the show can continue, because without you, there was just no show. There's a whole lot of show without him. Now we can cut to Nickel, see how he's doing out at the terminal. So why don't you
see Nickel?
Why don't you cut to Nickel?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight to Nickel T. Buffalo in the Nerd Terminal, live via satellite.
You'll get there. And so will we right now. So it looks like Nickel is playing cards.
Godzilla.
It looks like Nickel's losing.
Eek. That's a move only Nickel T's capable of.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like, okay, we're back.
Welcome back. Oh, that was Nickel T. Buffalo losing in a card game.
Yeah.
Poor Nickel.
Playing, I don't know if he was playing. It looked like they might all be playing something different. I don't know exactly what they were all playing, if it was one game or a bunch of games. But Nickel, I'm thinking he lost a lot of money in that game.
We got to get in. It looked like fun.
Well,
next round, Nickel, we're in. Count us in.
If you're still watching Nickel via satellite, we got next game, okay?
I know Keith White's the cheapskate, but I'll front him. Don't worry.
And I'll never pay him back. Oh, wait, I still got that $3 you gave me back at Magruder's. I framed that money. So, I know that...
What was that from?
That episode, that was from Ron, our old producer, Rantin' Ron, who's now
Haven't the shows
fired.
Improved so much, significantly?
Oh my God. The shows have gotten so much better.
Oh, man.
Since Rantin' Ron is out of the picture.
Rantin' Ron now has his own show, which you can tune into that if you prefer sports talk.
Yeah, actually, that is true.
That's what Rantin' Ron does.
The Rantin' Ron show, which drops, I believe, Thursdays. And actually, I'm going to put a little thing for him down there. This is the first.
Ron, look at.
Oh, so it only took months and months and months, but there's Ron's info. You can check him out. He's on YouTube. He's had all this time. I believe his shows drop on Thursday. He's had quite a few guests.
I heard he had Martin Baran.
A while back.
Martin
he had
Baran is a vampire.
Howard Simon's been on his show. He had us on the show once.
Indeed.
That's the best episodes. If you're watching an episode, watch the one we were on.
I won't say we bombed his show.
No, we made his show better.
Oh, we made his show better.
We were the bomb
on his show.
Right, we were the bomb on his show. I think that's what you meant to say.
Yeah, you always can finish my sentence.
Right, I always finish your sandwiches. So either way, you want to check out Rantin' Ron, you can. And I would say that at that point, talking about Rantin' Ron is pretty much close to the end of the show. Drink it again. Always drink it. So either way, and he's signaling, I think, for a beer off stage to one of the stage hands here. So there we go, one of the stage hands. Oh, not that there's anyone here on the set with us. You did it again! You still didn't save it.
I had to drink it because it was blowing up. So it just got thrown at me from 40 yards.
Either way, once again, this is Tavern Talk 716. I am the main host of the show and the one who keeps it all together. International best-selling children's author, Keith White Jr. With me, as always...
You know me as AKA Lawrence Salvatore Morocco Tango Gomez Duran.
What? The golden goose that laid the Tango Torres egg. Lawrence Gomez. So, once again, we'll see you down the road or down here in the bunker.
Thanks for stopping by.
Tastes like summer. Oh, we're still on.